All right, ladies and gentlemen, Grand Rising, Grand Rising. We are going over the big money patterns from the future, real time, right now. Let's see. 158, ladies and gentlemen, I need you to focus on the verbiage. It's right there in writing. To win, what you must do. It's a prerequisite to join my group. You have to tell me this before you send me any money. Ladies and gentlemen, this was for 12/11, 158, as you can see. 158. Would you look at this right here, ladies and gentlemen? You see, to win, what you must do. You focus on my top 5 3 digits. But check this out. I promise the first 2. I declare that they will manifest. 12/11, same motherfucking day. You see it for yourself. Ohio. I show off from time to time. I even stated that you would see this happen within the next 24 to 48 hours. In most cases, and I don't practice this shit. I don't. So you see it yourself. I promised I could manifest that straight. And I told you that in most cases, I can make it happen. I made it happen. Ladies and gentlemen, 141. Ladies and gentlemen, the only motherfucking big money pattern on fire. You can see it for yourself. I promised my only big money pattern on fire would manifest same motherfucking day. Ladies and gentlemen, 4237 was drawn on December the 11th. Ladies and gentlemen, I triple dollar signed. You read it for yourself, which I promise triple dollar signs will manifest from 12/5 to 12/12. Ladies and gentlemen, you can see that I promise the very last number you see. It's a strategic formula that I developed. It works. You can see it for yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, 5547. Ladies and gentlemen, you see it for yourself. Your number one motherfucking big money pattern. Can't go wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Same motherfucking day. You see it for yourself. To win, I said on 12/11, you would see it on 12/11. But ain't nobody listening to Mr. Bascomb. Ladies and gentlemen, you can see it right there, 469. Ladies and gentlemen, I promise my motherfucking big money pattern would manifest straight. You see it for yourself. 12/9 to 12/17. Ladies and gentlemen, this is for investment purposes only. I am not a gambler. I do not promote gambling, nor am I an advocate of gambling. Get that through your head. I am a time traveler. I travel through time at will. And as you can see, I bring back sacred motherfucking-mation that will work for you if you listen. Ladies and gentlemen, 635. Ladies and gentlemen, 635, guaranteed to manifest straight by the deadline date. You see it for yourself. From 12/4 to 12/11, I said, if you believe in me like I believe in you, you can do this. Straight. Ladies and gentlemen, from time to time, I will show off, ladies and gentlemen, your number one motherfucking big money pattern. I said you would see it between the dates 12/6 and 12/13 at 6:28 a.m. I did that. Ladies and gentlemen, 7908. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, my only motherfucking number on fire. Boom, boom, boom. They can't get away from me. Y'all see why they keep suspending me and banning me from these platforms? But y'all not listening to me though. Ladies and gentlemen, 3879. Ladies and gentlemen, my only motherfucking big money pattern on fire. I told you, the 5-year-olds, they hear me. The 5-year-olds, they can see me. The 5-year-olds, they understand, understand, and overstand what I am saying. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I said that if you invested in my fire between the dates 12/5 and 12/12, remember, you don't gamble here. Don't gamble. No gamble. This is for sure. Ladies and gentlemen, 1390, boom, boom, boom. Only motherfucking big money pattern on fire. As you can see, I said you would see this manifestation between the dates 12/10 and 12/18. No rundowns. No flips and mirrors. Ladies and gentlemen, I do this with my mind, as you can see right here for yourself. Boom, boom, boom. A 5-year-old can pick out fire. Ladies and gentlemen, 943. Ladies and gentlemen, I triple dollar sign 943 to manifest straight between the dates 12/5 and 12/12. Y'all see it for yourself. Every now and then I will show off and I will make it the number one motherfucking big money pattern. Why? Because I am that powerful on this plane of existence where I can manifest whatever the fuck I want. And you can see it for yourself every single day. You don't have to know about pairs. You don't have to know about sums. All you gotta do is invest in number one, number two, triple dollar signs, and fire. You see it for yourself. Deadline met. I even give you the motherfucking deadline to stop working on it. No flips and mirrors, no rundowns. The numbers will run right to you if you listen. Ladies and gentlemen, 5 deuce deuce. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, triple dollar sign, the very last motherfucking big money pattern you see. I said I will manifest that motherfucker first. And I did. You see it for yourself in writing from 12/10 to 12/19. Ladies and gentlemen, that is straight too. Ladies and gentlemen, 522. Ladies and gentlemen, 522. Congratulations to those who believe. Ladies and gentlemen, 7298. Ladies and gentlemen, boom, boom, boom. 7298. Motherfucking straight. You see it for yourself right there. To win, what do? You focus on my top 5 4 digits. Why? Because I promise. Y'all see that for yourself. Triple dollar signs, 12/9, to 12:17. Boom, boom, boom. 6, 6, 3, 7. Dropped on 12, 12. Ladies and gentlemen, boom, boom, boom. I guaranteed I could manifest that motherfucking big money pattern for the VIP between the dates 12/7 and 12/14. Don't read anything into the prediction. Don't leave anything out. Ladies and gentlemen, I show off from time to time. As you can see, I will give you the same big money pattern. Why? Because big money patterns do not lie. Ladies and gentlemen, 043. Ladies and gentlemen, 043. 22 hours before the number even debuts, I knew. And I made it the number one motherfucking big money pattern. Why? So you don't miss. 479. Boom, boom, boom. 479. I manifested straight. You see it for yourself. I said you would see it between 12:11 and 12:19. Ladies and gentlemen, 8063. There you have it right there. Boom, boom, boom. Black sheep, big money pattern, manifest on time, as you can see, between the dates 12:10 and 12:18. Ladies and gentlemen, you have your 272. Ladies and gentlemen, only motherfucking big money pattern on fire. I manifested by the deadline date. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll show off from time to time. As you can see, the underdog black sheep manifested straight. 272, 12:11 to 12:19. Ladies and gentlemen, 082, number one motherfucking big money pattern. How can you go wrong when I am giving it to you in the number one position? I tell you, if you don't know what to do, then you are just lost. Because I tell you in writing, look, to win, what do you have to do? You focus on my top 5 3 digits, which I promise the first 2 big money patterns will manifest from 12:11 to 12:20. I also guarantee you would see it go to Michigan. You see it for yourself, only 16 motherfucking hours. Boom, boom, boom. And I promised it would happen. Ladies and gentlemen, you got your 7-0 deuce deuce. I guaranteed. Look, don't leave anything out. To win, you focus on my top 5 4 digits. You see it for yourself. I said they will manifest 12:9 to 12:17. You see it for yourself. The number 4 specifically. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom, boom, boom. Somebody got to be listening. Look at this. Look at this. I show off from time to time. You can't lose when I'm giving you the same motherfucking big money pattern over and over and over again till you win. You see it for yourself. I said you would see it between the dates 12/8 and 12/16. Ladies and gentlemen, there's your 5357. I triple dollar signed it, promising I could manifest it. I told you, in most cases, I can make it happen, and I don't practice this shit. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I told you to look out for it between the dates 12/9 and 12/17. Ladies and gentlemen, 663. Ladies and gentlemen, only motherfucking big money pattern on fire, straight. I said you would see it between the dates 12/8 and 12/15. Ladies and gentlemen, 151, only motherfucking big money pattern on fire. Boom, boom, boom. I promised you would see it 7 hours from it debuting. You can't beat that type of information. Ladies and gentlemen, 8207. Ladies and gentlemen, I triple dollar signed it. I said you would see that big money pattern manifest between the dates 12/9 and 12/17. You're not listening, no. Ladies and gentlemen, 3257, one of my favorites. I promised to manifest it same motherfucking day. Triple dollar signed it, said, hey, it's gonna happen. In most cases, I don't practice it, but I can make it happen. Ladies and gentlemen, you got your 4271. Ladies and gentlemen, your number one motherfucking big money pattern. Just forget all other numbers. Go with number one. Ladies and gentlemen, here it is again. I'm showing off a little bit. Promise my very last number you see would manifest first. Now, I want you to take a look at this shit. Take a look at this. Would you take a look at this? Very last number you see. I said I would make it manifest first. Between the dates 12/11 and 12/19. Let's go back. Look at this. Number one motherfucking big money pattern. I told you, you see it for yourself. I'm using everything I got to give it to you. I'm putting it in first place. I'm putting it in last place. I'm putting the motherfuckers on fire. I'm doing everything I can to give it to you the way you need it most. Ladies and gentlemen, 370, triple dollar signed it, promising you would see it between the dates 12/6 and 12/13. Do you see how far into the future I am walking? I'm not just talking this shit. I'm walking this shit. But ain't nobody listening to me. Ladies and gentlemen, you got your 349. Ladies and gentlemen, number one motherfucking big money pattern. Straight. I promised you would see it. 12/10 to 12/18 in Tennessee. But y'all not listening to me, no. Ladies and gentlemen, 128, you see it for yourself. Triple dollar signed it. I said you would see it between the dates 12/10 and 12/18. You see it for yourself right there for Michigan. Ladies and gentlemen, 3182, boom, boom, boom. I had a whole lot of people telling me that they caught that particular big money pattern. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the same numbers over and over. Why? Because my numbers don't lie. But y'all not listening. 12/5 to 12/12. I said I could do this. I know I can do this. There's nothing that can stop me from being a master manifestor. I am using all of my 100 trillion cells to electromagnetically pull everything I desire right to me. And I show you it in real time every single day without fail, even meeting my deadline dates. Ladies and gentlemen, 620, boom, 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 620, straight. Y'all see it for yourself. I said it would fall on 12/12. It fell on 12/12. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I triple dollar sign 206. You will see 206. Michigan, Florida, Ohio, Texas, Georgia, North Carolina, straight. Ladies and gentlemen, 912. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, 912, I manifested straight. Ladies and gentlemen, 4180. You can see it for yourself. I triple dollar sign the very last motherfucking number you see, so you would know that I will manifest that one first. And I did. I made it happen in Florida. You can see it for yourself. On 12/9, I told you, look out for it between the dates 12/10 and 12/18. I promise you will not lose fucking with me. I show off from time to time, ladies and gentlemen. I triple dollar sign the same motherfucking big money pattern because I know a little something about the energy, frequency, and vibration of these combinations. Ladies and gentlemen, 4597. Ladies and gentlemen, I promise to manifest that combination the same motherfucking day. Y'all not listening to me though. There it is again. There it is again. Guaranteed. If you listen to me. Yep. I said you would see it between the dates 12/6 and 12/14. Ladies and gentlemen, 325. Ladies and gentlemen, I promise to manifest 325 straight. Same motherfucking day. You see it for yourself. 12/12. Today is 12/13. Ladies and gentlemen, there's your 858. Ladies and gentlemen, 858. Black sheep straight. Y'all see it. Ladies and gentlemen, do you see it for yourself? 858. Straight. Ladies and gentlemen, 2796. Ladies and gentlemen, only motherfucking big money pattern on fire a 5-year-old can recognize and identify and pick fire. I promised the only big money pattern on fire would manifest. Here's your proof in writing, but y'all not listening to me. Ladies and gentlemen, you got your 4342. Only motherfucking big money pattern on fire. Y'all see it for yourself. I told you, if you invested in that between the dates 12/8 and 12/15, you were a winner. Ladies and gentlemen, 6530. Ladies and gentlemen, I triple dollar sign and promise the very last number you see would manifest first. Between the dates 12/5 and 12/12, even met my deadline date. That's how great my shit is. Ain't doing no motherfucking rundowns. Ladies and gentlemen, 4683. Ladies and gentlemen, you see it for yourself. I triple dollar sign that shit to fall. But y'all not listening to me. I said you could see it between the dates 12/10 and 12/19. Ladies and gentlemen, I show up from time to time, 8643. I promised. Y'all hear me? I promise. You'll see that right there. How many people you know can promise that a motherfucking number will manifest? Ladies and gentlemen, you got your 511. Ladies and gentlemen, triple dollar sign 511. Promised the very last number you see would manifest first. And it did between the dates. Look at that. 12/12 on 12/12. 12/12 on 12/12. Straight. Ladies and gentlemen, if you understand how to follow winning instructions, by all means, go to Dynamic Predictions and subscribe to a package right now. And once you do that, I need you to take your receipt to dynamicallydriven@gmail.com. And once you do that, I will gift you 7 days if you are a new member. So, ladies and gentlemen, time travel is real. Ladies and gentlemen, astral projection is real. Ladies and gentlemen, transcendental meditation is real. How the fuck do you think I am doing this? Huh? Make it make sense. I'm going to see everybody at the winner's table no matter what. Remember, if you don't know what to do, just go with the first one. And don't just do one drawing. Remember, you're not gambling. You're investing. Investing in yourself. If you invest in yourself, guess what? Yourself will show up and show out. But when you invest in other bullshit, yourself is not going to be happy about the decisions that you make. So, if you've been watching me carry on, again, I tell you, I am not from this plane of existence. I prove it to you every single motherfucking day. I actually remote view myself many times over and over and over again. So when I tell you that I know what's going to happen and you don't believe me, that means you don't believe in yourself. Because I am you and you are me. We are collectively joined together by consciousness, the one consciousness. Some of you might call that consciousness God. I wouldn't. How would the imperceptible want to call themselves God? It's a European three-letter word. You flip it around, you get dog. Ladies and gentlemen, stop being fooled. Ladies and gentlemen, you can break out of this matrix. You have to ground yourself. You have to forget about everything that you've been taught. Let your inner self do the work for you. They put it in the Bible. He told you, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. But you still watching TV. And Kendrick Lamar told you, turn the TV off. Turn the TV off. Turn the TV off. But y'all keep watching the damn TV. Don't you know your TV is your modern day crystal motherfucking ball? What is the television set made of? Crystals. Come on now, somebody. Oh, somebody getting a quantum download right now. Somebody knowing something. So I'm going to take me a little 15-minute break and wait on Tennessee. See how great my forecasts are. And I will see you at the winner's table over and over and over again. Abundant prosperity in health and in wealth to all who follow me and believe in the hard work that you see me accomplishing every single motherfucking day. Without fail, because I cannot fail, I will not fail. 70 to 100 times a day, I will do this. And I make it look easy. It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not easy at all. I just make it look easy. So you can hold on to that.